It's time to hear the story, make the connection, learn the lesson, and gain the wisdom. Are you ready? Let's get charged and be changed. The Sister Speak Brother Break Show. Conversations on grace, healing, and deliverance. This is Marcy Bush. Come on, let's journey together.
Before he had it, what would you have done then?
Right.
You know, and you can't take care of everybody. One person cannot take care of everybody, and that was frustrating me because I'm in the house with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying our bills. I'm looking at our account, and you know, people don't care about that. It was like they cared more about, you know, what they needed or wanted him to provide for them than him providing for his own family. You know?
Right. And so, are you still transitioning with it? Or you feel like you're in a healthy place?
I feel like I'm in a healthy place.
How did you get there?
Because just being able to go through some stuff, knowing that, you know, as far as, you know, you work so hard to get something and to be and about to lose it, that'll put you in a place of, nah, I can't do this.
Okay.
So that's the biggest thing for me.
So you found middle ground now.
Right. To be able to say no, put me in a place to where, like, man, you know what? And sometimes, like, man, I just, you know, I can't do it. You know, I can't. So that got me to a place now where people ask, bro, you see these kids? I mean, they ain't getting no smaller. They're gonna be going. I got one that's, you know, about to be in 8th grade. He in my shoes.
Okay.
The same shoe size. I mean, he's the boy a monster. I mean, you see him? I mean, I'm paying the same amount for his shoes that I pay for mine. So I mean, it's a lot of things that I can use now that I got in my defense that I didn't have back then.
Right.
And one thing I don't want to be, I want to get to a point to where, you know, I can't feed my family.
Right.
So I don't never want to get there.
Right.
So me keep giving it to you gonna put me in that place. So that's some of the ammo that I got that'll help me say no.
Okay. Because you were able to say, no, I got to choose I got to choose this family.
Right.
I got to choose this part of me.
And I could say, like, once my brothers and sisters and aunties and uncles, they realize that, they step back.
Right.
Only person that I feel like I'm obligated to or I don't mind giving money to is my mama.
Right.
That's it. And when she calls, it's very seldom. She like, give me $20 or give me $50. I'm like, all right, that ain't gonna pay no bill in our house.
Right.
Not no $50 and $20. I mean, so I mean, I feel like it's she earned that.
Yes.
And you know, maybe Doug also. But I've been called him for something before he called me.
Right.
So yeah.
So that was a major thing that y'all had to get over, was the money thing. And when did you exercise your voice that, like, it's too many people, or did you realize?
I realized, because like I told you, like, when you get
what opened your eyes?
Like when you get to that point to where you feel like you about to lose everything, you don't want to get to a point to, like I said, where you can't feed.
Right.
These
and well, I'm not even talking at this point, not even just the money aspect, but the bodies in your space.
Oh, I know. I just knew, like, I wanted to try to, cause some of the decisions I was making wasn't the person that I want people to portray me as. Okay. Even like we can go ahead and dive into this story because I know it's coming. The decision to make to step out on charity and have another child with somebody will open your eyes to, you know, some things. And I knew I can blame it on depression. I can blame it on me being drunk. I can blame it on me being put in certain situations. But, you know, I chose most of that. I put myself in them positions. So I can't blame nobody else but myself. So that's when you start changing the people you hang around and some of the decisions that you make. Right.
And so that was the main thing that started kind of evacuating the people out of your space.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
And so talk to us about that. When did you know anything was going wrong? Were there any flashers, any red lights, anything making you feel like
she probably had a bunch of red lights.
Something's not right?
Yeah. But there was no honesty. So even if there was a red flag or something didn't sit well with me, or if I saw something and was like, and I asked him about it, he would lie. And even the guys around him, they would lie for him. So I was like, there's no accountability.
Right.
You really need to change the people that you hanging around. And not saying that they can make decisions for you, but I'm, as a friend, as a sister, I'm the type of person that if I know what you're doing is not healthy, is not good for you, for your relationship, those that's connected to you, I'm gonna call you out.
Right.
I'm gonna hold you accountable. That's the people that you need around you, and he didn't have that.
Gotcha. So talk to us about whatever you want to tell us about that, like, because I know it became part of your ministry on the other side of it. But what was it like going into it and through it?
Well, I could start it off as far as I know I was in a dark place when I was on injured reserves. I wasn't playing like I needed to play. Drinking a lot, taking bad advice. And my thing was, and I always said this to myself, you know what? Like I never want to be like my father. I promise. I done said it to Charity so many times. I said it to my friends, and what happened was when I stepped out and got the girl pregnant, I got scared. He's like, you know what? I end up turning out the same guy as my father. He had so many kids from his wife, you can't even count them. Or she knew about it, but didn't, don't want to say nothing. Because what my oldest brother told me was his wife told him, I don't care what you do in the streets, don't ever bring it home. Okay. I never wanted no relationship like that with me and Charity. Right. But I'm there now. So I'm in this place. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to do what I can do without letting Charity know to try to be a father to Sadie. Okay. So I did it up until a point to where I don't know what I told Charity to be able to be there when she was born. Okay. I don't have a clue what I told her. Okay. So what happened was after that, Charity came to me. She was like, Troy, who little girl this is?
I didn't ask you.
Oh, you asked Celeste.
I asked my sister-in-law. It was somebody posted a picture on Facebook, and my mother-in-law was tagged in it, and that's how I saw it. Okay. And I was like, who's this little girl? Like, who child is this? Okay. So I screenshotted it and sent it to my sister-in-law, and I asked her, I was like, who child is this? Is she related to Mama Shirley? And so she didn't even respond to me right away. Okay. She went straight to him.
She called me, yeah.
Yeah, was like, all right, now's the time.
And it's crazy because my mom found out, and my mom told me, like, you know what, Troy? I don't care about nobody in this situation. Only person I care about in this situation is Charity. And it kind of drew a wedge between my mom and my sisters. I didn't want them to be around because I always thought they would tell. And I was like, you know what, Ma, I'll tell on my own time. It ain't your deal. And so we kind of grew apart in that whole situation. Okay. I was like, y'all don't got the right to say nothing. I tell on my own time. And my time kind of came, fast. And then Charity come into the room, and she was like, you asked me, did I know this little girl?
I didn't say anything to you.
Oh, just right. Here we go. I broke down crying. Okay. And told Charity.
So Celeste
came to me, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I went to Charity, like, Charity, we gotta talk.
Yeah, I walked in the room because I had cooked. I don't cook I don't cook often, but this particular night I had cooked. And Troy just came home from working out, and usually when he come home, he'll go take a shower, he'll come downstairs and eat, and he didn't come downstairs, so I was like, let me go up here and see if he ready to eat. So I walked in the room, and as soon as I walked in the room, he just became an emotional wreck and was like, we need to talk. And so,
Then I messed up. The girl that you seen on Facebook is mine. So. And then the first thing that came out of my mouth, I tell people, like, everybody don't know, like, Charity's character, I mean, it's crazy. She could have went any direction with this. Any direction. But the first question she asked was, have you been in this girl's life? Because she need her father. So then after that, then all the other stuff happened. Okay. She got emotional, like, we need to take some time apart. And then for me, I mean, I won't even talk about me. I know for her, it was a tough time. To want something so bad, to be able to we got 3 boys. You know, I would have gave anything for Charity to have a girl, and that I know that made it 100 times worse for it to be a girl, and the fact that I kept it from her. So, what did we decide? We decided to separate.
No, we didn't decide.
Not really separate, but
It is funny how y'all have it's truly 2 sides.
right.
Right.
Flip side.
Because it felt like a separation to me, because
I guess he's calling it a separation because he went and stayed with Doug for a few days.
right.
And yeah, during that period, I was kind of disgusted with him to the point where I didn't want to see his face or hear his voice.
So let me back up to you going in the room. He tells you the baby's his, and you say, "Are you in this child's life?" Was that an out-of-body experience? Like, where did that, do you even know where that came from?
I don't. I don't even know.
Girl, that's the God in you.
Right. I don't even know. Exactly. I don't even know how that was my first, the first words that I uttered. But it was, like, have you been in her life? And then, he said, he was like, I've been doing the best that I can, given the circumstances, him trying to do it,
Covertly.
Yeah. And then I just broke down and I cried, and then I got up and I left and went to my sister because I just needed somebody to talk to. And when I was on my way to, I think after I got to my sister's house, that's when my sister-in-law finally responded, because I guess she didn't want to be the one to tell me, so she was waiting on him. So.
And what did that look like after, once you talked to your sister, and what were the transitions in there?
I went back home and I really felt like I wasn't getting the empathy from Troy that I expected or wanted to get, and that's why we eventually started going to counseling, because I was like, we gonna need somebody to help us with this. We actually reached out to Bishop Presley, and we talked to him first, and I remember him telling Troy, he said, whatever she needs from you to be okay, you need to be willing to do that for as long as she needed. Don't be expecting her to be over it, in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, You need to be willing to, whatever she requires of you, you need to be willing to do that for as long as she needs it. As long as, it's nothing unrealistic, which it wasn't. I just wanted my husband to be truthful and honest and faithful.
Right. And so whereas you saw it as a lack of empathy, what were you seeing it as?
I saw it as for me is, I'm the type of person that I really don't like conflict. Like, I don't like to stay there long. Like, if we got an issue, like, let's just get over it. And I was using that big situation as something small. So I just wanted it to be over. Like,
So was it the guilt, the lack of being able to communicate?
A little bit of everything. I know for sure it was the lack to be able to communicate. Man, I felt guilty, like real guilty. And it was just something that I knew that I just wanted to be over. Like, I didn't want to deal with it. And Charity, like, that's just, it's always been my character. Like, I don't deal with it. Didn't forget about it. And I was that big situation. I shouldn't have treated it that way.
And men and women are so different when it comes to the emotions of things, and because we're thinkers, and then I know for me it would have been like 50 scenarios going on in my head, and then connecting the dots of, I wasn't wrong. I wonder if.
All of that.
And so how did you two begin to mend? I remember when you all shared, you had something where you brought people together and you shared. So kind of and I remember one of your little quotes. You were talking about that song, Gracefully Broken, and you said that was not your testimony.
Right, it wasn't.
What did the days after finding out and all of that, kind of where did it take you?
It took us back. I think it took us back to each other, because we went back to, our marriage, our vows and stuff that we made to each other. And what we decided to do was take divorce off the table. If we're gonna make this thing work, we're gonna, go full ahead and do everything we can do to make it work.
Okay.
Yeah, it took a couple weeks because I would say the first 2 weeks I was depressed. Like I was so sad, and I just cried day in and day out.
Okay.
But I was like, I prayed that God would take my heart. And, I was like, my heart is like shattered. It's completely broken. I was like, God, please take this weight off of me. And then after those initial 2 weeks, after he told me about Sadie, I actually went and sat down with her mama.
Okay.
Because I felt like for me to move forward, to begin to move forward, and to begin to this healing journey, I need to look her in her eyes, and I need to speak, verbally. I need to verbalize to her that I forgive her, that I, don't hate her, and that I, don't have any ill feelings towards her, and definitely, not Sadie. I wanted more than anything for Troy to be able to be a father to his child, because I mean, it ain't her fault.
Right.
But yeah, I needed to forgive her, and I needed to do it in person, and so I did.
That's
and that
good.
was pretty pivotal. But I can tell you, like, we are like this journey of healing and reconciliation, and like, it's a journey, and we're still on. Like I tell people all the time, like, we haven't arrived to no destination.
Right.
This is an ongoing process, because this is a lifetime thing.
Right.
The child that resulted from this, like, she here, alive and well, and I have to look at her all the time. And oftentimes that brings up, certain feelings and emotions, because as he said earlier, I always wanted a daughter, like prayed for a daughter. Our first child, I always wanted a boy first. And then we were pregnant with our second. I was hoping it was a girl. It was another boy. I was a little disappointed. But I was like, well, this is just our second child. Of course, we're going to have more kids. 5 years later, I'm, pregnant again. And I was like, this is the girl. Because I ain't doing this no more. It's got to be my girl. Another boy. And I called Troy after I had that ultrasound, and I was like, it is another boy. I was like, I'm so mad. And then to find out about, him having a daughter and with somebody else, that did all kinds of,
So do you think, even you had the issues with Troy having stepped out, but then it brought up issues within you regarding, like, just you.
Right.
As a result. And so were you able to deal, are you still in the process of dealing? So, like, when the voices come, but do you know how to shut them down now?
I think, I'm getting to, I would say, like, a couple months ago, I had an episode where, Sadie was at the house and she wanted to have a sleepover. And for some reason, that just locked me up. I just couldn't get out of this just low place that I was in. And I don't even know what all that was about, but it showed me that I am not, like, fully out of this. Like, it is a process, and I obviously got some more work to do in that area.
But
She's the reason why we moved to Columbia.
Okay.
To Blythewood. I looked at it as, I didn't mind making the ride to pick her up and get it on the weekend. But I was like, if we really gonna do this thing, and obviously I'm gonna be the father, I'm gonna be there, we're gonna do that. So I think what we need to do is leave, Evans and move to Blythewood. And first Charity was against it. But I think when she really saw that, for her to have a better relationship, for the boys to have a better relationship, and obviously for me to get the time that I need, we needed to be there for for her. So that's why we decided to move to Blythewood.
Okay.
It took some prayer, and I didn't want to do anything just off of emotion.
Right.
I really wanted God to lead us to make that move, and that was a conversation that happened, and it didn't come into fruition until 5 years later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the timeline from us. It was 5 years before we actually did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that was, it was a journey, it was a process, and there were other things that happened, in between that time that, led us to saying, okay, this is what we need to do.
Okay. And do you feel like you're in a good place?
I do.
Now?
I do. I don't regret it. Like, I often feel funny when people ask, because people always ask, like, so what made y'all move to Columbia? And sometimes I don't be wanting to say.
Right.
Because I really think some people probably look at me like I'm crazy, like, you are crazy. Like, there's no way. And I've even had people say, well, Terry, a lot of women would not do that, And I get that, but
I think you realize that you're not a lot of women either, though.
I'm me.
Right.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I believe that God leads you based on the plans that He had for you, based on your life's journey and what He's gonna do with that. And so I don't have a problem with making decisions based off what I feel God is leading me to do versus what other people might think. Because I mean, it's real easy to make decisions based on what you think other people think or assume.
Right.
But I would say it's also been helpful to have supportive family, because our family has been very supportive.
That's good. That's good. And I know that you all were doing the journey of that you were doing like a marriage ministry. Are you all still in that? Do you feel like it's there, but you have to revive it? Do you feel like?
Oh yeah, no doubt it's there. I mean, it's crazy the calls that we get, especially like from friends and family. Just for advice. So, I believe God is, telling us that door need to be open again.
Okay.
For us to.
And so, although it's not platform right now, it's still in operation.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yes,
no doubt.
We have people reaching out to us like we are professionals.
Right.
Okay.
And I have to tell them, like, y'all, I am not and I am in school.
But they come to you for what they see. They're drawn to you because of what you have.
Right.
They've seen you all navigate. It's not like they're just picking somebody out of the yellow pages.
Right.
So y'all have demonstrated that. And so you said you're going back to school because was that something that you lost a desire for, or that was kind of swept away? Do you feel like your dreams were gone to fulfill His?
I certainly put myself last. Not only, him, and then being a mom, like whatever I needed or wanted, whenever I have the time for it. And when you're a wife and a mom, like you got to create that time. But I initially was going for nursing, and I knew that wasn't it. I just couldn't figure out what it was, and I had to live a little longer, experience some more things, and then one day the Holy Spirit was just like psychology, for counseling. So.
Oh, good. And there was one last thing I heard earlier, and when you were talking, when I was speaking with you only, I had heard this question like, what were some of the things that were lost in the fire? And I was like, and I know it was a movie with Halle Berry or something, things we lost in the fire or whatever, but it was like, I heard this question and I forgot about. In that moment, I'd forgotten that you had actually been involved with 2 fires. I was thinking about the fire that took place in your marriage. And so do you feel like, let's do this. What were some of the things that were lost in the fire? And then what do you feel like was salvaged or birthed from the fire?
Go ahead.
Gotta go.
So what was lost in the fire?
What was lost in the fire? The fire being
that situation.
Yeah.
I would think that I would say, okay, for one, the need to kind of suppress or hide the real you. I can speak for myself, but I can kind of speak for Troy too, because I know that we've both grown in that area as far as like being more vulnerable and open and transparent with each other. I feel like you know, maybe that was something that was kind of burned away. Like, okay, now going through that, he should know that I'm here for all the right reasons. So there's no need for you to hide who you truly are.
Right.
Because I'm still here, you know. So.
And what about you?
Left lost.
Or you could say lost or emerged from. Is this the phoenix arise from the ashes?
I feel like it's made me obviously a better person, wanting to do right, wanting to put myself in better situations. So I think I got a better myself is better going through that situation.
Okay. And what would be your advice to couples who find themselves in the midst of, and it may not be the same situation, but a thing where trust has been lost? What would you say would be a good first step into rebuilding or assessing or whatever? What would be the first thing that they should do? Like once it has happened, been exposed, whatever, what would be the next step?
If you're going to make it work, make the commitment. So be able to commit to that. You know, I know like this is just the start of it, but we, like me and Charity, decided like we're going to take divorce off the table. So once we made that decision, whatever emotion, whatever other situation arise, we decided to divorce off the table. We're going to ride this roller coaster together. So you have to make that commitment and be able to ride that roller coaster to be able to to get through. Okay.
All right. Well, I do thank you all. I'm sure I will probably have you back individually maybe, or during some roundtable discussions or whatever, just on some future topics. But I appreciate you all being transparent and sharing with us. So I just want to thank you all for joining us for the Sister Speak Brother Break show. I hope to see you again soon. Be blessed.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you've been blessed by today's show, feel free to let us know. And if you'd like to sow into this ministry, become a sponsor, or contact us, you can reach us at 803-221-0169. Or you can email us at the ssbbshow@gmail.com. Let's continue this journey together. Missed any of our past episodes? Catch up on past shows on my YouTube channel at Marcy Bush, MarceyBush. And be sure to subscribe so you won't miss any future episodes.